great to be with you. These are my favorite events that I get to do. And so thank you so much. Certainly the most meaningful to me personally. Let me say three things today. Number one, I think there are three things that have contributed to this magical moment that we're in and this sense of possibility that we all have. One is Trump's picking of JD Vance, which was an enormous mistake. And I think capped or diminished the momentum that he may have had coming out of the convention, because even for many Republicans, JD Vance was a bridge too far. Commander Vance, as I call him, out of the Handmaid's Tale wing of the Republican Party. Number two was Joe Biden's remarkably selfless act to step aside, which was deeply powerful, emotional, patriotic, historic, and that I think we're still all thinking about and coming to terms with. It was such a powerful affirmation of our democracy and the way that democracies are supposed to work, where there is no indispensable man in a democracy. That's what autocracies are about. And third is then Kamala Harris just meeting the moment, coming out so strong, so commanding, so articulate and powerful about what she wanted to do and where she wanted to take the country. I think all of these were unknowns a few weeks ago, and they've all come together to create this remarkable moment that we're in, where we feel this optimism, these new vibes, as people are calling it. You saw the fundraising numbers today. 3 million people gave money to the Harris campaign last month. 2 million people were new donors. Those are crazy numbers, right? We've had unprecedented number of volunteers, and we've started seeing in real data now what's happening. Last week, I think if you looked at the polls, she caught up. I mean, Biden was down a couple points, and last week she caught up. This week she went ahead, and she's now ahead by 1 to 2 points in the national polling. 538 just released their first average, and she's up 1.5 points in that average. And that's even with junky Republican polls in there. And in the battlegrounds, there were 2 battleground state polls this week. And in those 2 polls, she was ahead in either of the 2 polls in Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and she was tied in Georgia and 2 points down in North Carolina. So it's a new bluer election. And we are now, let's say, slightly ahead, and certainly tied or even slightly ahead in the electoral or in the battleground states. And that's before a series of really important things are going to happen. Right? We still, I think, are witnessing the coming together around her, the rallying around her, which I don't think is finished yet. I think it's still happening. Second is we're going to have next week, we're going to have a VP pick and a VP week, and it's going to be really uplifting, I think, for us. And then we have our convention, and that conventional wisdom is that parties gain 2 to 3 points in that kind of period, right? And we're already ahead. And then we have this other thing that's going to happen that could also gain us a point or two, which is we're going to have the most powerful democratic political machine that's ever been built to push the early vote and GOTV. And so I think today we're favored. And I think for us to close here, we have to learn how to close out of joy and of power. I loved, by the way, the speakers today have been amazing. I've learned so much, I've gotten so motivated by this. And we're not going to be operating, I think, in these final few weeks entirely out of fear, but out of this sense of possibility and opportunity that we're on offense now. We're playing to win. We're not playing to catch up. And I think that's a more powerful way to play the game, actually, in my view, because it brings more people along. It's more attractive. It's more interesting. It's more compelling. Joy is better than fear. And so I'll close with this, is that Kamala said something really important, and I've known her for over 20 years, and I'm so proud of her and what she's been able to do, is that she said the other day that the baton hasn't been passed to her, it's been passed to us. And I think she's right about that. And if we do the work, we're going to go win this election. We're going to make Kamala Harris president of the United States. And hopefully we're going to begin the process of flushing MAGA into the dustbin of history where it belongs. But it really comes down to what we all do together and how hard we work. If we want to have the election we all want to have, we have to take the baton and leave it all on the playing field and get this done for our kids and our grandkids, for our future, our freedoms, and our democracy. So thank you all so much. Haley, it's always great to be with you. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.